Ou deixa sua bunda ardendo, ou dá tapa, 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 cara.
Welcome to Empowerment Unleashed Now, exploring your inner authority. I'm Michelle Jones.
And I'm Scott Collins.
And this is the place to connect with your highest, most essential self, your most empowered self, where you can explore your inner authority and learn from others and learn more about yourself.
We talk with fascinating people from all walks of life about transformation, healing, hypnosis, astrology, physical experience of being human, and heart-centered living.
We're so thankful that you're here with us. Let's dive right on in.
To not just recognize, but fully trust that the universe knows more what you need.
Or give it a chance to prove it.
Allow it.
That's what I would say. Allow.
Give it a chance.
Just allow. Like, just let it, because
Without resistance.
One of the things that we've been really humbled by, and I know, again, it's because of working with Christopher, and I'm going to give a plug for the Diamonds Egg Coaching, right?
Okay. That's cool. It's on the tip of a pen. That's really good.
Egg Coaching, because getting that one-on-one time has been super integral in terms of quantum manifestation. Like, we've been humbled that people have asked us, how are you getting like this guest or that guest? And we've had beautiful people in addition, like to you. And I'm telling you that the quantum manifestation part of it has been because on this day, I know so-and-so is going to be in a space because we're all in a net 7-day and we're speaking to our guides.
Yeah.
That, we might have lots going for us, but we have this going for us, and acting on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really validates the illusion of time when you start having quantum experiences because it's a frequency response. It's not a linear time. It's that spherical time thing we're talking about when quantum change or quantum attraction happens.
Totally. And my Gemini and like my stellium and Virgo fights that. And because I have mind. Because I have the steps in system, like understanding of this, I'm like, oh, that's just my dumbass, my smartass.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it's what, and I know where it's coming from now.
Yeah.
That to me has been a profound game changer in my existence. From manifesting what it is that I want, and what you were just saying about not limiting source, not limiting God. There are aspects of things that I didn't even know that I wanted from this podcast. And you've heard me say this about community. I honestly didn't think that I was going to really form relationships with the people that we've been interviewing. And we've been so lucky and so blessed that people have written back. They wanted to, like, hey, Michelle, can I have your contact info? Could you come? If I was just doing that on my own, I wouldn't have put that in there. And leaving that open-endedness to source, but knowing I've taken those steps in the right state of awareness, in collaboration with the conscious collective and their awareness and their manifestation. It's just, who the hell would I be if I knew this before I was like 50-something years old? Like the people that are showing up now, that are the millennials, the Gen Zers that are getting this down, they seem to come to want this.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want the secret formula to how things work?
It is the safer time to come back. Let's get nicer.
Wow.
The bravery was required.
Well, fighters. Yeah. We have carbon and Aries, so we've been fighting. We all have the intention of bringing peace to the earth and balance because we have this past life history of fighting and being part of the wars. So it's interesting. But what you're speaking to is that each day has a ruling step number. So, we plan our business around it. Like literally, I plan my business around it. So for one, it gives me forgiveness. You tend, when you are, let's say, ambitious, right? You kind of feel like I have to do everything now and get it as fast as I can. Let's get the contract. Let's do this. Let's get the sale. And I'm like, I have to decide by Thursday. So I know step 8 is on Thursday. That's when I decide. I just relax. I don't try to get ahead of the steps. It's one step a day, one step at a time, and that's it. And it helps you to relax, right? And not try to rush or skip steps. Most of the time, people have manifestation problems, they're skipping one of the steps or they're skipping to a step, they skip to step 5, the mind, all the time. They forget heart, feeling, believing, and belonging. No one does belonging. That's Aquarius. That's really our dumbest step for the whole world, because we haven't upgraded Aquarius since, the American Revolution. That was the last upgrade to it. So we've been operating on a primitive belonging, which is like, based on where your fence is and, these other people don't belong in this country. Very, very simple understanding of belonging. Now we're going to go into a quantum understanding of belonging with Pluto and Aquarius. In fact, tomorrow the sun conjuncts Pluto. So we're about to get the upgrade in the next 24 hours for this interview.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, where does your heart belong? And what is your true essence, like your authenticity? Like letting that just shine.
Which is the heart. I mean,
that's your heart, right?
And that's Pluto right now is at step 1. And that is the sun conjoining Pluto this year. So when the sun crosses in front of Pluto, the sun's boundaries are set, right? So this whole year, the boundary of what frequency to focus on is what you love about yourself. That's the boundary. So Pluto's saying, focus on self-love, right? That's it. Now that's actually the secret of the whole universe and the whole system. And that's really the reason why the age begins is self-love. When I was on YouTube back in 2007, nobody talked about self-love. Nobody talked about self-love ever. I really felt like I was one of the first. And then I started seeing people popping up with it. I was like, are they watching my show? Suddenly it just became, self-love. I'm hearing celebrities talk about it, so it is the secret of the universe. So when you talk about authenticity, and you talk about integrity, it's all based on if you're in alignment with your heart. That's it. That is authentic. If you're in alignment with your heart, you are authentic. If you're not speaking your heart, if you're not aligning your life with your heart, you are inauthentic, period.
And in Sirius Joy Sensei, how do you teach that to folks? The alignment to the heart.
We talk about it every day.
Yes.
Every day. I mean, and really the step number is what the heart is focusing on.
Yes.
That's what, everything is driven by the heart. The sun is the center of the solar system. So the solar system teaches us the sun or heart is the center of all consciousness. And it's step 1. So step 0 is the separation from God. Okay. So I'm no longer a spirit. I am now this incarnate. So we separate from God. And the very first thing we do is connect to the heart, step 1. Yeah. And then step 2 is based on step 1. So every step after is based on that first heart impression. So the heart is literally driving the show.
And it lands on integrity and authenticity.
It lands on step 11, which is, I love myself some more. Yeah. But that's actually where now the heart has law of attracted the reflection of the heart.
Yeah.
And that's what integrity is. So step 11 or Virgo is when we become, and our life becomes, we become the reflection of our heart. And then once you're the reflection of your heart, then reality, step 12, is where it begins, or the ascendant. You start attracting based on that 11. So if the first one says, I want this, and the second one says, I want that, the mind decided, not the heart, then your reality is skewed.
Yes.
And you are mismanifesting. You're drawing in, perverted versions of what you intended. Right? Which is where most of people are.
Yeah. Remember I told you about that story that I got really, it was my sense of justice, right? Like 11, I'm right. My Cancer is like an 11 degrees. So like the integrity. Unfortunately, I started to really focus on human trafficking, things that were happening to children. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing it all around me. And I was like, wait a second. I am manifesting in the wrong direction. Like I'm drawing this to me as opposed to moving to some place more neutral, as challenging as that was in many ways, but it toned it down because I was manifesting in a it was backwards. It was what I didn't want to see was what was all around me. And the things that I did want to see were not happening until I stopped focusing on what it was that was really sickening. like it was manifestation in the wrong direction. And I would not have known that had I not understood all of the steps for conscious awareness.
Totally. And by choosing to focus on another, that's not dissociating. That's not being aligned.
Right.
I think it's very important.
Right.
Like to distinguish the difference between neutrality and numbness. It's a big ocean between the two.
Right.
And also by like choosing to attract and affect another change is not like unrecognizing that exists. Right. But it's actually an empowerment to choose to take on a different vision. And then that actually affects the change that you want.
Yes. Have you been listening to this show? Because you're understanding what empowerment is. No.
I've listened to one. Oh, let me rather.
I've listened to all of them, of course. And no, but legit, without the step system in my personal life, like people ask me, how do you get so much done in a day? How do you know when the right time is to do things? How is it that you're getting these things? And when I say to them, go to Sirius Joy, go to Sirius Joy, go to Sirius Joy, go to Sirius Joy. And they're just like, okay, what is this? And don't be dissuaded by the depth of it. Be encouraged that you've like entered like the Library of Alexandria and you can just start in the A section if you want. Or if you want to go to Z, if you're like the Aries that likes to read the end of the book before the actual book, just go to C. And you can do that. And it's okay in the step system, right? You can totally move around it as you need to. So, Christopher, what are you feeling most empowered about in your life right now at this time?
That I was correct. I mean, because I was skeptical, but I mean, I downloaded the whole vision for my career when I was 19. It seemed a little far-fetched. You know what I mean? Like I had a hard time believing that was the case. And even now where Sirius Joy is and where we are now is exactly what I have felt. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the way, again, it didn't go the way I thought. My mind thought it would go a certain way. Right now we send text messages. There weren't even there were pages when I went to college. So I couldn't foresee all that. But I'm amazed and empowered that I can fully trust everything I see in my visions. I can fully trust my intuition. And I don't know how many people can say that, but that to me is the most empowering thing, that I will not be misled and I will know. I mean, sometimes I jump to conclusions and, or I think it's going to go one way, but then it's because I realize I'm blocked by something in myself I'm afraid of. There's little things like that. But overall, I'm not afraid of making any mistakes. I mean, big mistakes. I'm not afraid of being wrong about my vision. I'm sure that I know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't expect people to believe me or, take my word for it. You can go find for yourself, right?
Right.
So I have no doubt and I have no fear.
Beautiful.
That's strong. Right? That's huge to me. I mean, because of what people face.
Yes, and especially in this day and age, and how people like really feel afraid of.
Yeah, and I'm sure by becoming more of a master at that, you continue to attract possibilities and opportunities to encounter that. But they're just opportunities from the universe to demonstrate that mastery aptitude you have now with fear and doubt. Yeah, so then now your challenges probably have to get tougher.
Huh, interesting.
I agree.
I don't think it is getting tougher. No,
I agree.
the truth is it's getting easier and I'm having a hard time. Yeah, it's getting easier and I'm having a hard time accepting that's easier. And this can actually be it. Like, come on, it's just, simple. I'm not saying my life is simple.
I'm just usually Pluto, sorry.
Yeah.
It wasn't so easy.
Well, no, that's because you resist, you Capricorns. First of all, you want control of the universe when it's controlling you. So give it up. It's not the way it works, and oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And Capricorns had a rough time with that transit. And that's because, if you weren't holding on, if you weren't stubbornly holding on to controlling it your way and control the outcome, you wouldn't get beat up so much, but
yeah,
Capricorns did.
As soon as I let go of that, the transit, even while I was in it, corped immensely. Yeah.
That's why I saw that about
few years ago, and then the transit had a different effect on me.
Aquas are embracing it already.
Yeah.
They're embracing. They lit up as soon as Pluto went into Aquarius. They lit up. They were happy. And it's like, this, I'm really, wow, that's really interesting.
Some of the aquas that I know instantaneously like woke up and you were just like,
Me too.
Hey, wait, had the body snatchers like been here? Like, what did you do? Like this person, really go 180.
Yeah.
That's them, that Electra, right?
They needed
the
the
surge.
Well, they are willing to hop
They're willing to hop
and change. But I think what they needed most was the boundary thing, because when Pluto's in your sign, you have the power to draw boundaries and enforce them like that. So what did Capricorn do? No, I'm not changing none of. So they were using the boundaries to again. They were using the boundaries
thing I learned.
Yeah.
Was, I mean, I don't want to say mastery, but like advanced aptitude of boundaries and an understanding, but between the inner boundaries and boundaries with others, just an understanding of boundaries and an aptitude to exert, demonstrate, and even just know what I want with my boundaries. Like I would say that's the most massive thing that transit gave me. Then all the big planets in Pisces in the last year or two gave me opportunity with all the karma.
We taught Great Britain the same thing last time code as a Capricorn, because Great Britain is a Capricorn. So, and so they had this, domination over the earth. And it's just like, not with everybody, Capricorn, England. Here's a boundary for you, a tea party. Like, you're like, they were stunned and someone said no or stop. And so that was the first time, the universe said stop to them in 249 years, so it's interesting what a wake up call it is. If you are one that trespasses over boundaries, feels like you have the right to.
Yeah. We were just learning how to implement my own life.
Yeah.
Like, how was the biggest thing for me?
But I think, Capricorns who are like part of scam deals and, they're, the low vibration, because there's a spectrum of everyone. One thing that the subsystem revealed is if your step number is low, you have little experience in past lives with that state of awareness. So the ones that give bad reputations to the signs, like the Scorpios who want to lock up your daughters around, are the first 11 degrees of Scorpio, or basically, we call them the Halloween Scorpios. They're spooky, like because they're still learning the word no, right? Yeah, but then as you get more higher in the step numbers, you have more experience with that state of awareness. More sophistication is the lesson, and more mastery as you get towards the end. And that's something that's not in astrology anywhere, which I think find really fascinating, because why is one Scorpio, a ladies killer, and one Scorpio in jail for, that?
Right.
What makes that difference, And it tells you sort of the awareness and what the level they're working at.
Is the step system, Christopher, only applicable to like your incarnations on Earth? Is it taking galactic incarnation into account as well?
That's a very good question. And actually, there are ways. I mean, from what I'm downloading now, which is where I'm going probably, my book actually is going to kind of cover the basics of astrology. I mean, a step system.
When is your book coming out? I'm sorry to.
I feel it's going to be with the printer this year or so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna. I feel like that, but the universe was prioritizing other things, and also I was looking at the book incorrectly. My mind was thinking it had to be certain things. I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was still reading it like I was still trying to make a bestseller and focusing on those types of things, and not what spirit's telling me to write.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so I kept getting caught between it. So the first book is actually about the states of awareness, because human beings are unaware of how their consciousness works. We have to start at the very beginning. The fact that it comes from astrology is not important.
Yes.
In the first leg is what I realized. And I'm anxious to tell astrologers about it. Yes. But I realized, we're not going to muddy it up with a lot of astrology, because that's just going to turn people off and make them feel like they don't get it. So there's a lot of boundaries I had to put into it. What belongs and doesn't belong. Step 4 in that first book. So it's ready to happen. So the answer is, yes, it's actually in there. It's in a secret place that I haven't revealed yet.
Okay.
It won't be in the first book that I reveal it. I'm downloading it now, like it's still coming in. So while I'm practicing this stuff, I'm looking at another level of it each day and with clients and not talking about it. So I'm again doing what I did in the beginning, doing my own studies and seeing how it plays out, But yes, and I think, it's ironic is, it's God's plan, but, it'll come out and be clear probably when, we have disclosure, when we, so it's tied to it.
Okay.
So it's interesting because in the old astrology, it was all based on the visible planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that also represents where humans were of themselves. So, for instance, we did not discover anything past Saturn, right? So it's a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus is innovation, is also belonging. It's also the idea of, context of space time. Humans were just not operating on that complex of a level back then, right?
Yeah.
And, the irony is boundaries is really the dumbest part of this. Pluto, was it early 20s? I think it was discovered. And we haven't even, been really thinking about limits and boundaries in our creation. It's coming up now for the first time. It's something that's new. I mean, the Greeks and Romans didn't even have the number 0 in their math system.
That's right.
Right? They didn't even understand to hold space for something that might be there one time.
Yeah.
That's a complex idea. It's almost like algebraic, right?
Mhm.
Very complex thinking. So as we discover a planet, we discover that awareness in us. Point being, the next level will be with the discovery of the next planet.
Okay. Okay.
Which there is. I've been told we have so many chakras above our head. We have orbiting bodies outside Pluto
Yeah.
that each that connect to that. And those orbiting bodies are how we connect to those higher dimensions. And so, as we discover the planet, we'll discover the step.
Yeah.
And the step number that applies to it. And that step will be above 30.
It will.
So the first 29 is the solar system.
Yes. And then it'll go.
So step 30 is going to be maybe the title of the book,
Yeah.
because it's like it goes beyond 29, right?
Yes. That just delights me. I'm sorry. That just that's little rain woman thing going on. You're like, well, steps. I'm a believer. Yeah, no, really, that is deep. Okay, so of the 3 steps that you would say for anybody that wants to get started to feel empowered with astrology and using Sirius Joy.
It has to be the first 3. I mean, you cannot skip steps. So step 0, I protect. Step 1, I love. Step 2, I feel. In fact, really, you can run your whole life from 0, 1, 2. You don't have to know anything beyond that. I mean, the sun is 1, the moon is 2, and the sun and the moon pretty much drive the whole story, because 0, 1, and 2 is what defines a person's direction, their power, everything. What your heart feels is your navigation, period. That's your compass. So if you know what your heart feels, you can do anything. You can manifest anything. You don't have to understand what happens after 2. You just don't. And 2 is a big one too. I mean, our emotional awareness and our EQ is very low on this planet, but with good exception from what I understand. I mean,
right.
Other planetary systems don't have emotion.
That's right. The range that
it's a new feature to being blind,
and why it's challenging for some of them to even come to our planet. Massive emotional field because of the
totally. Size of our moon represents
and it's what makes ours special.
Massive in comparison to the size of the Earth. Right. And we have what?
And we have 1.
Imagine being on Jupiter with like 60 moons. You'd be, breaking down every 20 seconds.
Right. But they're all a little bright.
Yep.
That in size.
Yeah.
Compared to Jupiter's size.
Yeah, they represent because Jupiter's our collective consciousness. And so, there's a lot of moving bodies that's messing with their collective consciousness. Those 60 moons are, messing with Jupiter's algorithm. It's really fascinating. The planets are the mechanics of consciousness.
Consciousness, right?
And from what I understand, like in other systems, we were a 12-based system, so we have 12 states of awareness. But Sirius might have 7. So you have a totally different step system in different systems. And it represents how many states of awareness that those beings have to navigate their life. It's different numbers.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and from what I hear from the aliens on that channel, they're interesting. Yeah. I mean,
fascinating. Ooh, that's just like the mind-blowing emoji. Like that's like my head just like blew up.
I'd like to know them. I wish I could. I mean, I will talk to you. That'd be something I ask every time I interview an alien race. It's like, hey, what's Sirius's? Because what's Sirius's base number? And
that Wendy Kennedy would know.
She were told
for sure.
Or yeah, totally. She'd be one to ask. Actually,
that's what I think. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have any questions? Are you going to show me up? It wouldn't take very much. Here are some questions to ask for Christopher.
Oh gosh,
you're limited to 1 or 2. It's getting late.
But I also just kind of wanted to share something that I've maybe out of the box way that I've used your steps.
Whoa.
I work.
All the children leave the room now.
But I hope that's not the case as we're heading into this Aquarius consciousness. But I work with plant medicine a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I've started applying step system to the grams to creating certain grams and doses based upon sometimes that day situation or maybe intentional focus and targeted healing or awareness or consciousness to be experienced by that said nervous system. For instance, when Chiron went into 19 degrees, that kid one, and my moon is at 19. And so I chose to do what normally would be a more moderate 1.9, but it was like the experience of a 4.9. And what was unlocked. So I've been using that subsystem, like applying it to other out of the box things and kind of thing like massive breakthroughs.
Yes, it applies to everything.
Yeah. So I just want to validate, thank you. And like to like take it and run with it. I guess. You know, like you said, did it before, it's like you can take it and
It applies to every
your inspiration, you know, 012, trust what your heart feels and apply it to it. And I'm glad I did because it's like unlocked other things.
Oh yeah, if I go to a hotel and they're like, "You're in room 447," I'm like, "No, I'm not. You're not taking me in for a room. I know I'm with fourth floor. You don't want me anywhere near there. It's breakdown, breakthrough, and I'm not going to the, I'm not staying to Marriott for that reason. And I will refuse a room based on a step number because I don't want to, I don't want to experience that energy because that room is emulating that vibration and that signature, the intention. I'm always adding up the intention of the room I stay in, and actually, we in the staff, we have like these voice notes between us.
Yes.
We'll go with the natural voice note, but almost every time it's over, it's like, oh my God, I was in that 8 and I was telling you, so we're analyzing like the total recording time and how it adds up and what it was about. You'll see. I mean, that's a great one.
God,
Let's do voice notes about something and then look at how when you just end it when you feel naturally, it's over. And then look at the total recording time and see if it's not what you were talking about 2 seconds ago. It's amazing.
phenomenal. I can't wait to do that.
It's fun.
For the flight I was taking the other day, I was like, okay, is this the one I'm supposed to be in? Because they had canceled me. And so it's like 5, 4, 5, 2. And I was like, okay, it's going to net to like a 7 spiritual. Okay, I'm going to get some good stuff done. I'll get some writing done. Pain will stay up there. Angels are with us. I'm taking that one. And I've started to look at things like addresses is
Oh, yeah, me too.
when I'm traveling.
Or houses I lived in as a child. I go back to the house addresses and like, Yeah, and you can read like a sentence. You can read like a sentence. So it's like if you get an address, there's like 545. This is ultimately this is about your thinking being innovated to new thinking, which results to an opinion 14. In the mind. So you know that this is a house. This house is all about embodying, processing my thinking and processing my thoughts, taking my thoughts to the next level, and then leading to an opinion about myself. You'll see it apply, and you have to.
I do some question.
Good.
It would have to do with numbers lengthier than 2.
Oh yeah,
lengthier than 2 digits. And I guess you could say beyond 30, but I kind of feel like I know what you would say if they're 2 digit beyond 30 because I've done your 40-day things. But so I dream in numbers a lot. My spirit angels communicate via numbers. Michelle knows this for a long time. And I have developed a rapport regarding that. But if I was to apply the step system to like 4-digit numbers from guides and dream state, what would you advise me?
I read it like a book. I mean, what they're telling you is, it's in sequence of left to right.
Yeah.
So and the left to right represents how it's manifesting. So, the steps is the same thing. So, my step is step 18. So step 18, just keep it simple. For me going to the world, it's what my heart, step 1, is going to commit to. They'll lead to an action, right? But when it comes to your internal world, it's read backwards. So it's like when taking action, commit to your heart. Saying the same thing, basically, right? So backwards. So forward is the manifestation of what you're talking about. And each step number, and if they're not divided by a decimal, then that is the formula. So
you just
continuing. So 5, take this and do this, take this and do that.
I belong, whatever I believe, But are you also going to do a summation? Like,
That's what I was
going to get a
wondering.
net? And isn't it like 2 nets, or is it 1 net of all 3?
Okay, so you have to break it down to a 2.
Okay.
Okay. Or, so it's just, again, 0 is invisible.
Yeah.
Love and feelings is, so you net down to 2. So that 3 comes down to a 2. And that 2 is the final step number of the equation, with the intention being the next step.
Well, if there is a decimal, that happens sometimes.
And there is decimal. There's the decimal. I haven't downloaded with full confidence yet what the decimal means. I'm not 100% sure what it means. I have to play with it. I haven't had time to go down that road. What I'm really doing now is
the minutes, maybe the decimal.
Well, no, the minutes are, I was just going to say, the minutes are the next big thing that I'm going to show you. That's the next big, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty powerful.
It was
the whole,
And there's seconds too.
And there's seconds in it, right?
So there's 2 more sets of step numbers that go beyond the primary degree number.
That's quantum shit.
That
It is a quantum shift. And I do know what it is. And not even no one in the whole world knows what it is. Told nobody. Not one person. Actually, there's one person I told that for. And they better be fucking what? No, they won't, but because my guides are like, do not.
it's not time yet.
Very clear. Do not, do not. Because it will interrupt, because people will not learn the first.
Yeah.
You have to get, that's why. And I need time to work out those. It's deep, and the minutes are deep. Deep.
That they are.
Where they take us is deep. And it requires also a lot of fundamental agreement of certain principles of incarnation. So the second one is something that right now people would debate is true just from a premise. So the premise is basing on is saying this is how it works and this is how it works here. And so right now I think the collective has to get to that place where we all mutually agree upon this fundament. And then you can start playing with what it tells you in the fundament. I'll give you that much.
That's
right.
Exciting.
It is for me. It is, especially as I awaken. So
yeah,
I would not have understood the minutes, before age 47. I wouldn't have understood them because I hadn't accepted what it entails as a 0 baseline. So the step, in that sense.
Yes.
But I am very interested, in the higher steps, in the sense of going beyond 30. That's fascinating to me too. And so as far as taking things forward, right? Things progress across the steps. Once you get to step 29, right? It launches, right? Whatever it is manifested completely, and it's step 30, right? So after step 29. After something reaches step 29, it's all about believing. Now you believe it's, and taking belief and protecting that belief. And then taking that belief and running with your heart. And taking that belief and running with what your feelings are telling you. So, our company, Sirius and Robot, it must be at step 2,547, these old, that's where they are, right? And their step, so it gets to those numbers eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, and complicated like that. Yeah, it is deep. It's cool. It's like the mathematics of consciousness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's really fascinating. Yeah. Really fascinating. The other thing I'll just say too, is, step 5. So let's say step 7, spirit. So step 7 is when spirit comes online, right? So math tells you how to get to spirit. A lot of people are, I don't know how to open my intuition. How do I open up my intuition? Well, there's different math equations you can. So 6 is opening and 1 is heart. So when you open your heart, it adds to a 7. Opening your heart brings you to God. That's one way. Or if you take your beliefs of 3 and you innovate them 4, that will open up to God too. So it's 4, it makes 7, right? Those are the formulas of which will open up spirit. Yeah. Each person uses a formula they tend to, like most, or have the experience with it for how they're, open up. For me, 6 plus 1 is how I open up my intuition. My heart opens up. I'm just like, I know. I just know, but people have different ways. Belief, innovating belief is people who are trapped in their dogma take to a higher level that belief, and then they can open up. So it's a lot. What's that?
What is your Chiron?
My Chiron is, I'm going blank here, 18.
Oh, 18.
The same as my son. So, yeah, I messed up.
Mine's 16. So that was
That was it. You failed to open up your
When you, so when you said that, that's how you access yours that landed on me
right. So in that lifetime,
with 16.
you failed to open up your heart, or you failed to keep your heart open, or you failed to follow what that told you. So you opened your heart, but you said, no, you're not supposed to be this, and you're like, no, it can't be true. Your mind took back over. You didn't try. You didn't go with the formula. So in most cases, a Chiron will tell you the client did not apply one of the step numbers in the basis of they went straight to the 7. Like, God has spoken to me. We live in the next step. That's where we live, is in the next step. We live in that third number that it adds to. The client is always living in that net.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Always living in the net. And so, well, how did you get to this net? Right? How'd you get to this intuition that God spoke to you? Was your heart open when it came? No. Well, then I don't trust him. Like something ain't right. Your heart wasn't open. You were, mad at the time, or so you can sort of, diagnose, where the client is skipping steps. And usually, like, especially in the 20s, I mean, in almost all 20 Chirons or 20 something, in this lifetime, it was the 2. Like, no one was listening to their feelings. And so they were misguided. And that was because during that age, the dark ages, they're shut down emotionally. We weren't listening to our feelings.
Yeah.
If we did, we poo-pooed them as silly and girly or whatever, So in most cases, people failed to listen to the 2. And you can see in the chart all sorts of other evidence of that. Like, their Black Moon Lilith is also a 2. You see just over and over again where 2 is a problem. Yeah, I feel. And there's, people who've been, instituted, and put away in insane asylums, they'll have like a Black Moon Lilith 2, in the third house, their mind. So it went crazy because they weren't listening to the 2. They thought it was their mind was the problem. It was actually emotional problems, things like that. You see a clear pattern.
Yeah.
Clear pattern.
See, that to me, the Chiron and like the whole Chiron return. Oh my gosh. Thank God that I had Sirius Joy to unpack it after I had gone through it. Because I wasn't sure what had happened to me. I was like, wait a second, I thought life was pretty okay for a second. Then it was like I'm cross.
Smackdown.
Yeah, 14-degree Chiron. No, 19. I think I'm 19. I think I'm 19. It's not 14. It's
And what, Pisces?
oh,
You're Aries.
in Aries.
So favorite.
Other than
Yeah.
In Aries, for sure.
So just slightly after mine.
Yeah. It was like
Are you sure?
14.
I think you might be 14.
I'm 14. Yeah, 14. No, it's net 5. It's a 14, which makes sense. So your mind was what's up. Yeah. Well, last time.
No, I mean, you said things you didn't belong saying. You said things you didn't belong saying. You expressed your opinion, and your heart did not belong. One does not belong saying that in that place. That's what, so it's like, you're, at the Ku Klux Klan rally, and you were saying, pro-positive freedom things or something. You were not supposed to say that in that context. It's probably, usually religion. You spoke your mind. You spoke your mind. It's what you thought. But you didn't feel the environment like, no, you don't say this here. Because the belonging will tell you this does not belong in this part of the reality right now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because the hearts of these people are not like your hearts. These people's hearts are not like your hearts. Therefore, it does not belong. You do not belong, in this space, right? It doesn't fit in the cosmic order of things.
Yeah. All right, bro, you're going to take us out like an affirmation. You have anything else, because I know you would try to do this.
I know. I'm just like young.
We need to say thank you. Thank you.
I'm honored too that you came,
Thankful to share time space with you, for our listeners, to get you up close and personal, and for people to really have the opportunity to understand themselves better and the states of awareness, not only just how it's going to affect you in your life, but how it's going to affect your soul quantum-like. Like you're healing throughout multi-dimensions when you're doing this type of work. And so it's like you on 17 different timelines or 17 million different timelines, you are actually doing all of that just by listening and following this and the actionable steps, my friend. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
In brevity, I'll just say I protect what my heart feels, and I trust that my authenticity is for the highest good of all.
Right on.
Praise. It is too.
Knocked
It
it
is.
out, bro.
Yeah, it is. So
It is.
you came to
So
be
it
you.
is.
You came to be you and nothing else.
Everybody else is taken.
Everybody else. I don't live. Us do wild.
And
Baby. And we don't mind you speaking French.
okay. Yeah. Awesome.
We do.
We do too. So thank you, Sensei. We so appreciate you. And we hope that maybe you'll consider coming back and sharing a bit more with us, because I think that we're all going to be curious and just want to keep learning more from you.
We look forward to seeing you in Nashville.
Are you coming? Okay, good.
We've been there.
Okay, good. You better. You better.
Unite the Light. Okay, we get to do this. Noah, sorry, we got to keep going. So, Unite the Light. In Austin last year, it was the inaugural Unite the Light event. And what Christopher Witecki decided to do is a beautiful thing. The good guys, the good people get together. Bring your light, bring your lightsaber, bring your light body, bring your light heart, bring your light mind, and all get together. And when we unite that light, that's the other main reason why I feel that I was able to launch with this and move, is because at Unite the Light, I gave myself, and Scott knows this, I am not somebody that goes and like does selfies. Like I never want to bother people. I'll just be like in the background. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to get to talk to Christopher, and I'm going to maybe think that we could have a Unite the Light in Nashville. And then you would know.
Really?
Wow. And I was like, this is so perfect. And so it's going to be on May 17th and 18th, I believe,
May 17th.
Nashville, Tennessee. And y'all come on down. We need to do this because it is a light center for so many people that are just coming and growing and vibing in Nashville. And it will be something, it'll carry you for at least 6 months.
It will. We learned a lot from it. I mean, my guides told me we didn't start planning until February of last year. We had 3 months to plan it. And I kept saying to my guides, are you sure I'm supposed to do this? You know, because I'd rather not. This is a busy year. And they're like, you have to. Like, this is what is, you have to, and then it's also, come on, Witecki, you trust us, you know? So sure enough, everything fell into place. But what I didn't expect was what would happen with these people there. First of all, people felt called to it. So, you know, if you feel called, you better go.
Yes.
You better go if you feel called, and you will find the money, you'll find it, whatever. Because people were activated. What happened was, because of this variety of souls in the same space, all sharing a heart-like intention, people were activated in like their mission. They were activated in what they're supposed to do. They were activated in finding people that were key to their mission. Like it was a divine appointment set up by the angels, is what it was. And we opened up some sort of 5D thing. I mean, we were in 5D for 2 days. You have to experience what it's like, but it's just constant bliss. Can't wipe the smile off your face like a tourist. Like, and everyone was like high until like cancer, like a good whole other month afterwards.
Easily.
Where you're just kind of like, la, 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 life's great. And, you know, and then people talked about the depression that hit, not a depression, but just sort of like they went through a real sad period when the high went away. And they wrote about it in, you know, in the social that we do on Circle 4 and stuff. This year we're adding 2 more days too. They're more expensive. It's called Afterglow. And so for Sunday night and all day Monday, this event where basically you hang out with everyone who presented, and there are lectures there on a higher level for those who are further along that you can network and start to partner with. So the idea was like, you know, all the evil people get together in the world and plan the destruction of the earth. Why the hell aren't the good people getting together? You know, like, why aren't we, you know, at least talking, you know? So that was the meaning of it, you know. It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
It's gonna be fantastic.
And it's changing this year a bit too. There's a lot of changes. So
A lot of changes.
like music, we have musical hours.
Musical act.
Because now we're bringing in musicians as important aspects and vibration, important aspects. Actually, you know, I'll send you our person casting that to you, because we're being told we're casting musicians who are up and comers, who haven't, you know, signed the deal with the devil. You know, like we're not going for, you know, anyone you would see published. You know, these will be people we're led to with music that is supposed to be healing. There's like magic in their music, you know. So this year is going to be a bit more of a, you know, show. You know, more of a show.
You need to have that committee, and then you just need to bring me in, and I'll just feel like, you know, I'll know, because you'll be like, oh, I love this person. And then you'll be thinking to yourself, oh my God, nobody else is going to. Wait, let me ask Michelle. Because honestly, you would be amazing at doing that. Like picking like music for people. Like you're good at that.
I have opinions as.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Opinions. Now, it might be. Oh my God, seriously. No. It's funny, Mr. Royal Robot. All right, guys. Unite the Light, May 17th and 18th. Okay, just because I'm so nosy, it's my Gemini rising. Are you going to do year 3 in Palm Springs?
We are. Yeah, so, you know, I was surprised what I was told. I was surprised, you know. I was driving down the road and my guides were like, I don't know, I was just like, I like this place. And they were like, this is the next one, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps now. Talking about this now, I just have a little goosebumps. But because, you know, actually the cities we have chosen are special cities. Divine is sending people to those cities to come together to learn, to, you know, trade ideas like you had with the Renaissance and things like that. You know, it's not an exact accident. Everyone was in Florence, you know, we'd be pulled. So I would say to everyone, you know, especially in the next 6 months, you get a craving to go somewhere, you better go. You know, you get a craving to move, you better move. Listen to that. You know, don't let the mind talk about how it's expensive and don't. You either have faith or you don't, because the people I met here have already profoundly shifted me. And I have shifted them, of course. The conversation with me will shift you for sure. You know, so I'm already seeing it in action. But I didn't know this. The mountains around here have crystal in them. They're full of crystals. And this is a half circle. And so this is a vortex place.
Yeah, I would be telling her that. Yes.
That's a vortex.
We're talking about it because we're both like rockers. We love our crystals. And he's like, hey, sister, can you feel all the crystals? I was like, why do you think I love it here? Right?
Yeah, and it's calm here. I mean, it is calm.
Super calm.
And yeah, very interesting. You know, why did they come out here in the first place? What drew them to it? I mean, it's beautiful, but, you know, they started building things right in the middle of the desert. Yeah. Well, the crystals called to them, and the way it's set up in a half circle and stuff, it's a vortex.
Yeah, it's a vortex.
Record keepers too.
That's what I was in. His way. Record keepers. They're programming. You know, they're the record keepers. It's like Havasu. Like Havasu is one of my favorite quirky places, and you just can pull crystal. I mean, I remember walking the first time, and I was like, "Why are all these crystals in the desert?" And it's like, "Oh, this is a vortex, like big time." As opposed to Sedona, which I don't always vibe as much.
I think Sedona is retired energetically.
I would agree.
I feel I've never been there, but I can just feel psychically that it's not its heyday. I mean, the conscious currents of the earth are not blowing through anymore. I mean, it shifts. It's a moving thing.
It's beyond retired, and it's sad. Yeah, it's a little bit of an energetic loophole. Okay, no, you'll cut that out. Thank you for being here, Resurgence. Time.
My pleasure. It's being an honor. Thank you.
We can't wait for Unite the Light.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And we're out, bro. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Empowerment Unleashed Now. Please subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and let us know how this helped you.
Join us right here every week for another episode.